It was not in my vision for it to turn out that way. It was only supposed to be one room. My name is Willie Melvin. Most of my friends call me Buddy. You have a treehouse? I said, yeah. Well, I don't try to explain to them about the treehouse because I can't. Because in your mind, you have a picture of a treehouse. And that's far from this. So there's no need me. I just say, you need to come and see it. At the beginning, the tree was in a garden. My daddy had a garden out there. One day I just said, I believe I'd try to build me a treehouse. And I was grown, so I said, well, I want a tree house for grown people. I didn't want a kid's tree house. So I asked this lady for a tobacco barn, and she said, yeah. And that's when I started. I built me one room. Got this tree room first. That's number one. Then I built the kitchen, which is number two. And then I built the pool room, and the dance floor. I do think that I have a gift. I can see stuff in my head out in front and sketch it on paper, and I know what it's going to look like before I finish it. And that's probably hard to explain to somebody that can't see a little ahead. The tree is probably 80 years old. But the reason it's as large as it is because there's an underground stream coming through here, and it feeds, it's constantly getting water. We had a store. It was called Melvin's Grocery, and that's the sign. The people in Roseboro remember that. The score clock came from my high school. The score malfunctioned, and they had to get another clock. So they were going to throw it away. So I got it. I said, Mike, come on now. This is my life-size poster of Obama. But you can see I'm taller than he is. But he's the president, I'm not. Everybody that comes signs the wall. Ones on the wall that's highlighted are the people that have passed, and I got them highlighted like a memorial. This is my mother's. That was my mother's signature right there. My sister's is over here. She passed too, Veronica. My great-grandfather, who was a slave, his father was Albert Frank Melvin. My daddy, who was Albert Melvin, and that's me, and that's my son. The ones with the star on them, they died. It was my cousin. This was one of my friends who played baseball with me. He used to be the policeman in Roseboro. I spent a lot of time out here alone by myself. It's peaceful. It's my getaway. Sometimes I wonder how I done it. All this work. "50 years from today, if a person was to happen to come to the Treehouse, I would hope that they would feel the freedom and the atmosphere would be to a point where they would want to come back. And I know it would be a place where they hadn't seen anything like it before. But the inspiration of a person to have thought of something like this and built it, that's what I would hope they would get from it. This was a vest. See, right there? I cut up kids' jeans and anybody else's jeans and hooked them up. I got 6 pair of these, all different. That's my fashion statement.
Best place in town to get a hot dog is right there at Diamond Days.
Diamond Days.
Diamond Days.
Diamond Days.
What time?
We open up at 5:30 in the morning so that we can get the philosophers and problem solvers of the world. My name is Steve Simmons. I'm owner-operator of Diamond Dave's Grill in downtown Bladenboro. We've been here almost 13 years. A lot of the Diamond Dave customers, especially the ones early of the morning, they're kind of like what we call, quote, good Baptists. They have a special place at church that they like to sit every Sunday. And it's the same way with our people coming in here. Especially in the mornings, they don't have to compete for a special seat. Theirs is usually available. And most people that come in early in the morning know that Tom, Dick, or Harry usually sits here, and they go to another place. The difference here is we have people that come through the door, and most of the time the lady that's running the grill up there will speak to them and say good morning before they ever get to the counter to place an order. It's that extra little thing that helps build a business, I feel like.
You have chicken salad?
Yeah, we got chicken salad.
You do?
They got the fries that Chick-fil-A gives you a My name is Hiram Hester. I was born and raised in Bladenboro, North Carolina. Naturally, if we didn't have Diamond Dave's, we would not have that central gathering place. Because I think it's more than just an eatery. People come to socialize. It isn't a hangout. They just encounter each other there. They stop in. They enjoy a meal with their fellow citizens here, and then they're gone. And you can depend on that. It isn't the same as some of the chains. We have a Hardee's out here, and there's folks who gather there. But this is downtown. I think that if Diamond Dave's was gone, that it would be, for me personally, similar to the loss of the high school, that you would lose a certain more of the pulse, more of the heartbeat, more of the core of what we have left here. It's almost like Diamond Dave's is a blessing. It's one of those things that the spirits of those who've gone on, the grace of God, that we have that as a place to go to. And I would say the heart beats there to some extent.
Burger
Yes,
today.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. That's all we got. That's it.
It's like a big family here. Everybody that works here is like a big family. If you're having problems at home, you don't have nobody else to go to, you come right here. I know me and Tracy are family, but, we're really close. But besides, I can go to Elise or Miss Kay to, talk to them, or even Steve. If I needed something, I know Steve would be there for me. But I like working here. Keeps you active. And everybody in town. You always see everybody in town. So that's always a plus. But if it weren't for the people, it probably wouldn't be as, because like Miss Kay, I've been here going on 6 or 7 years, and me and her's always worked together, so we kind of have like the mother-daughter relationship, and me and Kristen, and then Steve, our Evan's kind of like the dad. So we're like a big family down here. Just whenever, Steve's ill, you gotta overlook that and be on your P's and Q's all the time. People think it's not that hard, but I tell everybody, they'll say, "You doing anything today, Tracy?" I tell them, "It's not easy being nice to y'all." I said, "Y'all were hard to put up with." Whenever I first started working here, she told me I'd have to be here at 5:30. I was like, can I really do that? But, once you get used to getting up at 5:30, and then, if she comes in at 5:30, I have to be here at 7. I'd rather come in at 5:30 because I feel like I just drag the rest of the day if I come in at 7. And if I come in at 5:30, I feel like more refreshed and know what's going on. I never knew this, but eggs takes off fingernail polish. So when you wear fingernail polish, like I just painted my fingernails last night, and the tops of them are starting to come off from eggs. When you bust the egg yolk, it eats the fingernail polish off of it. Grease, grease, grease. When you clean all the stuff, it makes you think, gosh, I know I didn't just do that. When you clean, after you clean it and you make it and stuff, and you see what comes off of it, you're like, gosh. I never have, a bad day here. I never do. I enjoy it for the most part. They say it all the time. Them old men that come in here, I tell them I'm tired. They're like, "Why weren't you here yesterday?" I said, "I was on vacation." They'll say, "Vacation? You don't do nothing." That's what everybody thought. Yeah, thank God. Yes. Yes, that's it. You sure?
This is my other family. You know about it, don't you? That's right. Carol used to fuss at me, you know, but all right, y'all take care.
Yeah, have a nice weekend.
All right. Bye-bye.
You're doing mom when we get to go. Yes. Yeah, we did that good. Bye! Bye! Good seeing you.
It's been a good day when things go well, which is very seldom. But I don't have a bad day. I have some better than others. And I like to see my people with smiles on their face, and also my customers the same way. I'm looking forward to several more good years if my health holds up and the Lord sees fit to keep me here. I enjoy what I'm doing, and I enjoy seeing all my friends and neighbors each and every day.
Diamond Days.
Diamond Days.
Diamond Days.
Diamond Days.
Diamond Days.
The Diamond Grill. Diamond Days.
Diamond Days.
Diamond
Days.
Yeah, Diamond Days. No. Benson's. Yeah, be Diamond Days. Diamond Days. Diamond Days.
Diamond Days.
I'm a politician. I can't answer that neither.
Diamond Dave is the best place in town. Just like a diamond on your finger, but it's good stuff for your belly.
Hot dog, surely Diamond Davis is on the place.
Well, I think small town America is what we need more of. We don't need more Walmarts. We don't need more Lowe's. We need more individuals that appreciate one another and are concerned about one another and want to do what's right for people. I think that's what's missing in our country today. And if these dummies in Washington can get this through their thick heads, government is not the answer. It's people.
prior to, I would say, the 1940s, there were, as far as I know, no African American police in the South, perhaps with an exception here and there. In terms of North Carolina, the first African American police officers were hired in the early 1940s.
I was the first one black deputy in Montgomery County. Wasn't no black officers in Montgomery County that I know of when I got in the sheriff's department. I was the only one. I don't even think, I don't think I'm making a mistake, I don't even think it was a police officer in the county. But I was the only black deputy in the county at that time.
It was a very small number of black police officers during the 40s. And the reason I think that black police officers were hired was because of substantial African American protest and attention to the lack of African American police and the high levels of police brutality by white police against the black community. So African Americans wanted to have black police officers from a sense of equity, but also because they felt that African American police officers would treat them and treat the black community more fairly.
There wasn't no black officer. And we needed a black officer to kind of help the people and chastise our people as well so the other people chastising their people. It's just as simple as that.
Many in the African American community were concerned about crime against African Americans. They felt that the justice system dominated by whites didn't care to punish or get involved with the punishment of African Americans who committed crimes against other African Americans.
I gave everybody a break. It didn't make no difference to me because they didn't know where they were really. They didn't know how life was and what was going to happen the next day. They didn't know. So I talked to them and tried to explain everything to them. You know, I mean, you out here raising sand tonight, tomorrow you go home and go to sleep, and wake up the next day, you might decide you want to run for sheriff or be a school teacher or whatever. You don't know what you're going to do. And then if you get locked up and have a record against you, you can't do this.
When you're up there in the jail, you find yourself more often than not ministering to those inmates. And see, at the time, you don't really realize it, but that's what you're doing. You're ministering to them. And I never forget, years ago, we were invited to a program at a church out of Troy, and the preacher was preaching, and he said law enforcement are ministers of God. And I thought about that, and that's really true, because when you're in that jail talking to those inmates that's caused some trouble or whatever, you're ministering to them. You are more or less preaching to them. You're more or less trying to lead them away from their troubled ways. As an officer and as a gentleman, I always treated people the way I want to be treated. And I never looked down on a man, and when I say man, that includes woman too. And I never forgot where I come from. And I never thought that I was better than any man or any woman that I encountered or had dealings with. I perfectly understood that we weren't on the same levels of conversation, of course, but I never looked down on someone. And the only time I looked down on them when I was trying to help them up.
The legal system provides, in general terms, a sense that we've moved forward in the sense that, of course, you have juries that include African Americans, whites, other groups as well, and of course you have black judges as well as white judges, and you have, more balance within the police department racially in many cases. But on the other hand, there's so many instances of the police being seemingly out of control.
I think things are really kind of getting worse because of the situation, because of what people see the police. You got bad cops that's really setting the standards for good cops. And I think it's going to be challenging because people look at the police now as a trust thing. Can they trust you? And for the officers that are coming up behind me, it's going to be tough. It's not going to get any better because it's already been set. And the younger generations are totally different from the older. You got that no care period from the younger generation, and to be honest, they're down for whatever. It makes it no different whether they live or die. And when you're up against a generation like that, and you're policing that, then there's no winning situation. Personally, try to put the policing aside and try to approach your kids with basketball, different activities, show them that we're friends, we're not enemies, because you have to let them know that, we're not the enemy. And some of the responses are they never had role models to really take time out to really show them the way. And once I gained that trust and the love, because when I'm on patrol, it's nothing like having kids run up to your car and you give them gum or give them candy, or you get out your patrol car, let them sit in the seat. You instilling seeds in them right then, positive seeds. Tell you this right here, man. I've been in a lot of situations here in this town, but because of the way I police, I can go places a lot of police can't go. A lot of my coworkers can't go. And that's why it's such an important role to have black police officers in majority of black towns that have the majority of black citizens, because nothing against the white police officer, but they'll listen to me a lot of time before they do any other police officer. And it's not because I'm better, but it's because, they feel like I got heart, for them.
Thank you.